Going on, world champion Eagles fans? Welcome to a surprise live taping. We thought this was going to be a pre-recorded segment for the Wednesday show, but it is a live taping of the Cheap Seats off-season edition right here on PHLY. Now, I got to be honest with you. When we first set out this date, us three, and we agreed that, okay, we're going to do it the day before actual free agency kicks off, the start of the league year. I thought, we'll have a couple things to talk about. But I didn't think the Eagles were going to make a lot of moves. So, I thought it was going to be kind of quiet, and then rightfully so, after they win a Super Bowl in the offseason that they had the year prior to go all in for a Super Bowl. And I was right on one account that the Philadelphia Eagles didn't exactly have a spending spree. They didn't exactly make a lot of splashes in the offseason so far in the first two days of legal tampering. However, our patience and our belief and our faith is being wildly tested as we are watching Eagle after beloved Eagle just walk out the door and sign with other teams. So I think this is going to be kind of a all right, are we okay? We need to go to the doctors and just get our checkup to make sure that we got all our pieces in order, because it has been kind of a whirlwind, an unexpected whirlwind, and not in a positive direction. I am so glad to see you right here on PHLY, and I am so glad to see my co-host right now. Fellas, Jason, we'll start with you. How has the offseason been since the last time I saw you, which was the Super Bowl victory episode?
Well, I'm going to start by lowering my voice because somebody's napping to my left, and I don't want to disturb the peace. So he's got a little nap, so I'll use my inside voice as I talk to you.
Okay.
To be honest, look, how it's gone so far, right? Yeah. You say surprised. I don't think if we're being honest with each other, I think I think we don't like it, but I think it's expected. I really do. We knew heading into the offseason, look, you're not getting Josh Sweat back. You're not getting Milton Williams back. We watched that Super Bowl and we said, what did those guys do? They got the bag. Right? Those guys earned themselves a couple extra bucks in the Super Bowl. So I think to at least with those two, you understood you're not going to be able to re-sign everybody. But you also understand that there's a bigger plan, and it's okay. And pump the brakes just a little bit. It's one thing for us all year and even in previous years. Let's just use this year after a Super Bowl to say, hey, in Howie we trust. But then the minute things start to go a little awry, that trust gets tested real quick. So for me, I'll just say for me anyway, I'm cool as a cucumber right now. I ain't sweating it. No pun intended.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. We got an hour to talk about it. But if you're an Eagles fan and you are sweating it, I mean, chill, take a pill. We'll get through this next hour. We'll talk you off the ledge, and we'll get back on track.
Sounds.
I don't know.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Black Gritty.
He said,
I mean, what we talk about? We talk about the champions?
Yeah.
Talk about the two-time Super Bowl champions? Look, y'all over here crying, not y'all. But on the internet, dude, I gave Howie a whole bunch of trash because he took Rager and didn't take Jefferson. I get it. When you mess up like that, Howie, you deserve to get your back kicked in over and over again on repeat. He didn't draft DK Metcalf. How long has it been since DK Metcalf has been in the league? Are you looking at the Seattle Seahawks fire sale and giveaway? What are we talking about? Are you looking at the league? The 49ers have a trash can and Brock Purdy left. What are we talking about? Okay, so he let go. He traded CJ. You know what CJ did? He going on Twitch talking too much trash, trying to pick up random Philly girls in their chats. That's what he's out here doing. Every time you say his name, he's on the internet crying about it. For such a dog and a beast on the field, my goodness, is he sensitive on the internet. And sometimes you got to let people go, because Howie went out here, paid a running back, never does that. Paid a linebacker, never does that. Well, guess what? CJ out here talking about, well, I'm a leader too, and I want to get an extension even though I got 2 years left of my deal. You ship him out of here and get rid of him, and get somebody in here and get your backup Mekhi Becton in case Becton don't take the hometown discount, which still might be on the table. I'm just saying, what are you worried about when it is Howie's season? And when he was out there getting all these Georgia dogs, we didn't believe in anything he was doing. Man, these dogs can hunt. Oh, my God, these Philly dogs is out here. Jalen Thompson, what are you doing in the third? Okay, Jalen's in play. Oh, my God, Jalen's playing. Vic Fangio was picking these dudes on defense, and the guys he didn't pick, he's building them up. Kenyon, my God, who in America thought that he was going to be your starting corner and be just shut down on his side? You didn't. I didn't. You didn't. So, Cooper DeJean, exciting whites. How are the whites less exciting today than they were all season? But you weren't expecting them to be that exciting. So I'm saying to you, shut the LL Cool J up and accept that it's Howie season. Let him do what he do. He has, as you said, earned the trust. He has, as you say, earned the right to do what he's going to do. So for me, I don't get, man. Go ahead and say something else. Bring up the next thing you want to talk about.
Well, you know what? We got a lot to discuss, and we can obviously go all over the place on this one. But I feel just chronologically, let's work backwards, because the thing that's like in the taste that we still have in our mouths was the surprise that was today with C.J. Gardner-Johnson getting traded to the Houston Texans for a pick swap in the 5th and 6th, right? So we get a little value there, and then a guard who very Becton-esque in his resume as far as coming out of Houston, former first-round pick, 15th overall in 2022. All right. His rookie year had one of the Pro Football Focus grades, which I'm not a big fan of. Which listen, to hear me even mention the letters PFF means that there's something wrong with me, right? Because I believe they're based in fact, but they're manipulated into fiction, all right? But nevertheless, when a guy has a PFF grade as the worst starting guard in the league, right? And then his second year gets hurt, comes because of a shoulder injury, so missed the second year. In his third year, comes back to once again being one of the worst ranked PFF graded offensive guards. I take a look at him and wonder, okay, was this more about dumping Chauncey, or was this more about getting this guy and flipping some pick and flipping some draft capital? I almost think it was more about Chauncey, because listen, you bring that kid into Stoutland University, it should make him better. He should be groomed to be better. If you have the physical skills, but maybe just like Becton, you were wrote off as a bust due to injury and just being, I don't know, I don't think the Houston Texans are a poorly run organization, i.e. the Jets. But nevertheless, you should get better under Stoutland University. But I'm not sure that's the answer to the starting guard position. So what was your feel on that? Was it more Chauncey, or was it more the value that they got back?
A couple things. I mean, Chauncey said it himself. You know Chauncey. If there was bad blood, if Chauncey felt a certain way, you just got done calling him emotional, because he is, right? For everything that we love on the field, off the field, the dude can get emotional. We know that. If there was anything that was kind of off with it, I feel like we'd hear that from Chauncey. He has no problem expressing himself and speaking his mind, right? So if it was anything kind of sneaky or anything that wasn't communicated, because make no mistake about it, like these dudes knew ahead of time. They had that release ready to go. The minute he was traded, boom, there it comes out, and it's like, well, I want to thank Philly, blah, 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 right? So
yeah,
they
his
knew,
camp did have that
they
quick.
knew that well in advance.
Yeah.
And he came out and he had a video today where he was okay with it. So I truly do believe that a lot of it was cap driven, not necessarily for 2025, but again, we're trying to sign Jalen Carter. And you see what that defensive line market looks like right now. Howie told us, I'm going to have to make some unconventional moves. I'm going to have to do some things that are head scratchers, and you guys are going to just have to be patient with me. This is one of those, like we thought, oh, is he going to trade Dallas Goedert? Is that the unconventional move? And maybe it still is. But here's a move that has a scratch in our head saying, Howie, what the hell are you doing? And what Howie was trying to tell us is, guys, those moves are going to happen. Stick with me. The offseason is not just about free agency. We got a draft coming up. I can make some trades. Yeah. We got to get into camp and see what kind of happens. So for me, it's a cap move. But I also, this is the part that's odd to me.
Okay.
You just had that beef with Slay. Yeah. You just had that beef with Slay, where Slay was talking about the veteran leadership, and Chauncey was saying, hey, that's me. What are you talking about? I'm that veteran. If he is that veteran leader, you don't trade that guy. You don't trade your veteran leader. Yeah. So maybe there's some credence, and maybe there is some, and this is no slight at Chauncey. I love Chauncey. I think he's a dog on the field. Yeah. But I do think there was some merit to maybe what Slay was saying, because if he truly is that leader of the secondary, you ain't shipping that guy out, not for this return. So I think it's a little bit of cap and a little bit of, I'm sure there's some locker room involved.
BG, what are your thoughts on that?
It's all about the money. I mean, again, for the off the field stuff, yes, because he is emotional, he complains, whatever. but his production on the field and his attitude is going to be taken up by Carter. You know, so when you say you need out, like when the 49ers came here with the Air Force Ones and all that kind of stuff, and you didn't have CJ there, and Carter's a baby, basically, you know, he's a rookie. It's the end of the season, so he was already like fatigued, rookie wall hitting, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So, but now you see this year, he's barking at coaches, he's barking at players, he's barking at fans. It's not like he's that dude, and he also has the physical stature to do it. He's also out there getting double and triple teamed. So when you cry to me about, oh my God, we can't lose Sweat, okay? What do you mean? Milton, okay. What do you mean? Are either one of those guys getting double and triple team on every play?
Yeah.
I don't think they are.
Yeah.
So when you see, I gave Jalen Hunt the credit because he's their backup, just like I'm gonna mess his name up, Ogiwagabi, whatever his name is. I got to work on that. Yeah. Ogiwagabi, that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. Same thing. We're saying the same thing. When they came in as backups, they played very well. And you know why they played very well? Because Jalen Carter was playing 90% of the snaps, and he never came out the field this year. So when you've got a legit Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox, Reggie Light beast over there, it makes everybody else in the line look good. So those backups to those guys step up. You're really replacing those backups. You're really going to be replacing Hunt. You're really going to be replacing
Ajomo.
That's who you're going to be replacing in the draft to help fill that line and fill that rotation because Carter is the anchor. So CJ, again, we know him. When he left the first time, it's because he wanted that money. He played well. They went to the Super Bowl. His camp was already barking about money.
And his camp played that completely wrong.
Completely wrong.
Right.
So they're like, hey, you know what? Audi, go ahead. This year, I know for a fact a lot of players saw Saquon how's Saquon get a rate? I know but hold on. If he gotta, because I wanna, and they're like, out. Like, you're gonna want this money. The Texans got money to pay you. Have a seat. So it is what it is.
I'm glad you said that because I think two things. And this is about CJ, but this is also going into the Jalen Carter situation. It's two things. First of all, I think where people are kind of overreacting right now is free agency, and that's what we're doing. We're overvaluing players right now.
Yeah.
Milton Williams is not worth $26 million a year. I'm sorry, but that's what happens in free agency. You get overpaid, right? So good for Milton Williams. You got the bag. Appreciate you. But so we tend to overvalue certain players. But the reality is in 2022 and then again here in 2024, we said this may be the best roster that I've ever seen in Philadelphia. Like we thought 2022 was. And then in fact, this is not a normal roster.
Yeah.
For Howie to even put together the roster he put together, this isn't normal. And because we start losing some key guys or quote unquote, we're labeling as key guys, now people are starting to attack Howie. Well, you can't let him go. It ain't normal. You got to let guys go.
Right.
And Howie built this team through like the last 4 drafts, he's nailed. You build through the draft, you sign your young guys, and then you use free agency to kind of complete the puzzle. That's what I say. That's how I feel like you handle free agency. So that's the first part. The second part is all of these guys. I said it after we won the Super Bowl and we were talking about who's going to stay, who's going to go. I'm sorry. Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, even CJ and Oren Burks and all these guys are replaceable. They are.
Yeah.
And to your point about Jalen Carter, there's a difference between being a benefactor and a beneficiary. All right. Jalen Carter's the benefactor. He's the one that delivers the goods and services. And you, the beneficiary, you are the one that gets to reap the rewards and the benefits of a single team. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to miss 5 sacks from Milton Williams. And I'm probably not going to miss 8 sacks from Josh Sweat. As good as they are, I'm not telling you they're not good players. They are. But I spent years talking about Mike Mamula and how he's an absolute bust. And he gave you 8 sacks a year. And now you're telling me that Josh Sweat's 8 sacks aren't good enough? I'm just like, I'm sorry, his 8 sacks are somewhat, overvalued. They are replaceable, and Howie knows it.
Here's what I don't want to do, because it's a slippery slope, and we seem to do it online every offseason, no matter what platform of social media you're on, which is when it's your guy, he's the best thing in the world. The minute he moves on, he wasn't that good. So I want to preference anything, and I think you're kind of going down the same road, which is, it's not that they're bad players. It's just that they're replaceable. I'm going to kind of echo what you're saying here. And this is not a dig on CJ or Milton or any of the other guys that have gone out and gotten their bag. Sweaty, 4th round pick. Milton, 3rd round pick. The the corner that went to the Vikings. I'm sorry,
Rodgers,
6th round pick. Yeah. In other words, if you draft correctly, 100%, you should be able to fill in those gaps. We're not talking about first round pick. And the reason we're doing all of this is because in next year, we have to think about first round pick when it comes to Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. Part of the magic that is Howie, part of the Howie seasoning, part of the #Howie season is, making big moves and massaging the salary cap. They went all in last year. You're 100% correct. This roster is not normal. This is not what you normally see, let alone from the Eagles across the league. So part of Howie's magic is going to have to be massaging the roster right now, knowing what's coming down the pike, because that's how you get yourself in trouble. That's why the Dallas Cowboys can never get out of their own way. That's when you get teams like the Cleveland Browns, who their answer to everything is just throw exorbitant amounts of money at a situation. No, he's saving money now so that he can go ahead and once again, maybe next year we're going #Howie. See, we just can't afford to do it right now. And while those guys were great and they played well above their draft expectations where they were drafted, they far exceeded expectations. The reality of the matter is you have other draft picks waiting in the wings, let alone a pro scouting department that's going to be working. I'll explain that a little later. But it's going to be working overtime to try to find the next Zach Bond, the next Mekhi Becton.
Look at your phone. I do the thing I had you do.
I did.
Good.
I listen.
So, shout out to the chat, by the way. If you're not watching the show
the chat's
live,
going great.
You should definitely get in there. I mean, you're fighting amongst yourselves. You're playing nice. You're like a bunch of newborn puppies in the pit, and I love it. I'm trying to jump in there where I can. But again, really, you guys keep saying it's not normal. It's 100 to me. You kept saying that, and it just made me flinch in my mind. It's 100% normal when you're the winner of the Super Bowl or when you're the loser of the Super Bowl. I hear people crying about C.J. Gardner-Johnson like they cried about Tyreek Hill. And how bad were you going to miss him? How bad are you going to miss him? Now,
I want to clarify. When you're saying what's not normal, you're saying this roster is normal?
I'm saying
the roster itself is
what's
not
happening
normal.
right now is normal.
Yes,
when you're
that
a
is
Super
normal.
Bowl.
That is normal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's normal. I'm saying the roster build, how talented it was. That's not a normal roster. We've said that this is probably the most talented roster we've ever seen in Philadelphia. So you're going to lose guys. You can't maintain that for 3, 4, 5 years in a row.
But that's my point of why whenever you say that, it's what you say when you win the Super Bowl. That's why I hate when people keep saying me that Jalen Hurts has a super team. Why? Because he won the Super Bowl? So when the Legion of Boom was out there, they weren't a talented team. Right. When Ray Lewis was out there, every single player on defense was stacked. Like the only weak link was the quarterback. But that's not a super team. So, I mean, every year, except for when you're in that like weird Quasimodo of like the Giants backing into the playoffs where they're 9-8, and then they go on a playoff run. Both times, Eli won the Super Bowl 9-8. The wild card team won. That's when it's rare that the team isn't good. Normally, your first, second seed is the one getting to the Super Bowl, and when you lose. Wow. Again, look at the 49ers. A year after, you're going to lose a lot of those guys because everybody's going to want to come and pay them, and you've got to shift and adjust. The difference with what the Eagles seem to do is they've already prepaid so many guys because no one has been like Jeffrey Lurie since 2016 in paying people. He's paid more players. He's spent more money than anybody else in the NFL since we started winning Super Bowls. So that has to come to a head at some point.
Right.
Kicking the can. At some point, you're going to be down the hill like, yo, where all these cans come from? Like, let's get somebody to clean up these cans. And that's what we're doing. And you both made good points. You're bringing up 3rd and 6th round guys. And I'm looking at the chat and I'm like, you guys are freaking out about dudes that, again, God bless them. I love them. They're on my team. It's great. But I don't have anymore. And I can't cry over spilled milk. They've got to get replaced. And they're going to get replaced.
And so here's the deal. Because I like those guys too, right? I like Josh Sweat. He came, I think it was a Virginia Tech dude. I'm pretty sure he was a Virginia Tech kid. He had bad knees. That's why he slipped to the 3rd. When they drafted him, I was like, ooh, that guy's got talent. right? I love the success story. And we all know how Milton Williams got drafted and Tom Donahue and that whole fiasco that was, right?
He wouldn't give Howie the fist pound.
So the label was on him, and we followed these guys. So I wanted to see these guys succeed, and they helped us win a Super Bowl. So I've got nothing but love for those guys. And they, like I said earlier, they played themselves into an absolute bag on the biggest stage. Good for you guys. But when we talk about replaceable, irreplaceable, like when we and you mentioned how they've locked up so many guys, right? Because again, back to Howie we trust, the guys he's locked up. Your Milton Williams, your Landon Dickerson. I mean, obviously Lane, but Jalen Hurts, and they made sure they kept on.
You mean Mulata and all that. You said Milton Williams.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Mulata. They made sure A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, he just gave more money to Saquon. You could go down the line. Howie's telling you who is not replaceable. Howie has pinpointed this is the core of our team. Mm-hmm. That doesn't go for everybody. And I'm sorry, in a very talented defensive line group, in a very talented draft, and again, the beneficiary versus benefactor mode, Howie viewed it and said, I can make, if I gotta save some money somewhere, I can get by without those two. Not saying they're not good players. Yeah. They are good players. Right. But I don't got to spend $26 million to get a guy in a production like Milton Williams. I just don't. I can get it in the draft or at a much lower cost. And as a general manager, to sustain success now and in the future, these are the moves you have to make.
Shyamalan Mushabushu said Josh Sweat was a FSU dude.
Was he FSU?
Yeah, I thought he was
FSU. Okay, fair enough. FSU.
And
he might be a Virginia cat.
You know, it's very much akin to, and you're right. And again, I want to avoid the hey, they're gone now, so they weren't that good. I'm avoiding that because I see that people falling into that over the internet, right? They're just poo-pooing players off. No, Howie's got a lot of work ahead of him to go ahead and replace those guys. Some of those guys, like Jalix Hunt, is going to be the replacement as he's continued to being groomed for Josh Sweat. But also too, when you take a look at a move like a Hargrave a couple years ago, I mean, we were like, oh my God, how could you let Hargrave go? And then you realize when he gets to the 49ers, is he worth that bag? Is he a good player? Absolutely. Did he have good seasons? Absolutely. Was he worth that bag?
No.
Because that's what happens on the first day of free agency. You overpay.
What just happened? He just got cut, released. Yeah. And I'm telling you, not majority, but a good number of these guys getting the bag are not going to live out that contract.
Nope.
It's just a product of free agency. Bad teams overpay in free agency. You win free agency, you're not going to win in the regular season. And look at the teams that are signing these guys. Yeah. The Panthers, the Patriots, the Cardinals. Yeah. These aren't playoff teams, guys. Yeah. They've got the bag, and they're microwaving their success. They're trying to play catch up they're trying to catch up to teams like the Eagles, like the Chiefs, like the Bills, like teams that know how to build.
Yeah. And that's what Howie's going to have to do this year is like build from the ground up. Meanwhile, it's worth noting, you pointed out they're telling you who were the core pieces. They're telling you. So when we look at all this, when we have our free agency blinders on and we're going, oh my God, I guarantee you when training camp hits and we take those blinders off and go, oh, there's Saquon, there's Jalen, there's AJ, there's Smitty, there's Landon, there's Mulata, there's Jalen Carter, there's the exciting whites, there's Quinn. We're going to go, oh yeah, this is still a damn good roster.
So again, and like I said, people freaking out last year at this time, no one in their right mind thought that Howie's going to bring in the #1 defense in the league. You had all these same offensive pieces, all of them, every single one of them, besides Becton. But the offense was already set, and people hated the offense already. The defense was 90% there. Really, you draft a couple of young guys who you didn't expect anything from. You bring back CJ, and we've done it. But you still weren't expecting him to be #1. So yes, he's already signed your linebacker. Howie never does anything with a linebacker. You know, Nakobe Dean, he's still on the team. He's not dead, by the way, just so you know. So we have another linebacker. We got young Trotter there. I mean, wasn't Dean out of the – he didn't play the Super Bowl? Did he play in the championship game? Did you miss him? Did the other linebacker step up and fill in and help to play the game? Again.
Burks hurt a little bit. I was a big Burks guy.
Again. You were or not?
Were.
Yeah, that one stung a little bit.
Again, but I'm just saying, like, when a guy goes down, somebody stepped up in their spot. And so when these guys are gone away, you got to get somebody stuck in the spot. And again, literally, I am the one person on this panel that loves to complain and be negative. Me and the 30%ers, I will kick both of you in the back sometimes for your positivity and that bullshit y'all be talking. But in general right now, Howie Roseman has got the scepter. He is leading the kingdom because he's earned it. He took a can to the face, people. I bleed for this city. And you're going to question this dude? Not right now. Not right now. Right now, you literally have to understand that he's doing something that nobody else is doing in the league. Spending the most money and bringing in the young talent. He's doing it. He's getting it done.
Just before you make your point, isn't this such a break from the norm?
Like
now we're sitting here, we're positive, and Black Gritty is going to bat, like standing up on the hill, waving the Howie Roseman flag.
That seasoning tastes good these days.
He's cooking now, boy. You know what I mean? I'm going back for seconds and thirds.
Right.
Again, it's literally like, because again, I love being negative. And I'm looking in the chat. Like I said, Moshi Fushi got me. Like, I see you talk about Brown ain't shit, Ringo ain't shit, to have these young boys. You know what? First of all, they're still young. They haven't had their full opportunity to get. I saw them give up a big play in the Super Bowl, but I also saw Chauncey Gardner-Johnson give up touchdown after touchdown. You remember me? I posted a little picture of Kobe sitting there looking at him like, because, bro, every time a big touchdown was given up, it was on him. Now, it's not him essentially because there's other parts that are moving around.
Right.
But again, we hype everybody up, like you said, and vice versa. People that we can't live without him. Now they become these superstars. He's graded as the top PFF, whatever category you want to find that makes you feel good. And I say, were they that, or was the team that, and everybody got elevated? Because it is a team. Right. It is next man up. Nick Foles did win a Super Bowl here because somebody stepped up in their place. And like I said, Howie has earned it. So I'm snoozing on everybody. I'm so happy. This is a great place to be. I'm not worried about nothing.
I'll say this. Just because he mentioned Brown, he mentioned Ringo. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. Are they really serious about Sidney Brown getting starter reps? Are they really serious saying, hey, Keely Ringo, you're going to be our CB2? I mean, maybe. It's talk, right? Maybe. I think if I can offer any solace here or calm anybody down, again, the hashtag Howie season exists for a reason, right? Look at this. Like, if you think he's going to sit still at 32, I think you're mistaken, all right? Because, and that's not saying he moves up. Maybe he'll move back, right? Look at what he's doing with all these draft picks. He's got, I think, 3/3, 3/4. Next year, he's got like 4/5 or whatever that means. We're going to have additional compensatory picks come. Like, Howie's stockpiling. And you know, when Howie stockpiles picks, he likes to move. He likes to get fun, whether that's moving up and down a board or, as he's shown us, he's got a trade in the works. Howie always has a trade in the works. And maybe we don't see it right now, but you know damn well, you know as well as I do, Howie's always got his fingers on a trade that we never saw coming.
Let's make a deal. Yeah.
So the reason I think I'm sitting here cool as a cucumber is because, like, I've been there, done that. So have you. And in the moment, maybe we're not as comfortable with what we're seeing, but we've been in this spot where we're saying, what the hell's happening? Or I don't like this, or I don't like that. And then out of nowhere, Howie season. And then we're feeling a hell of a lot better about the situation. So we're only 2 days in. He asked for our patience. He told us it would be unconventional. Let it play out a little bit. Let's get to camp before we start figuring out who this team is and where these holes are, who's going to step up and what the expectations are. Breathe a little bit. Yeah. Enjoy that Super Bowl air for a little bit longer.
So this is how Philadelphia be right here. This is a perfect comment. Whispered Cares. That's a terrible name. I'm worried because, I mean, I'm always worried in the offseason, but I'm not panicking that we're all imploding. Yeah, you are. You're freaking out. Everybody out here is freaking out. Like he said, I'm not worried, but I am worried, but I'm not panicking, but I'm not freaking out. Like, that's really what happens in all season.
To be fair, I was feeling the same way today. I was feeling panicking because reason, right? When the first day went, I'm tweeting out, listen, you just won a Super Bowl. I'm going to trust the guy that put together a Super Bowl roster and found some off the trash pile, Bond, Becton, and turned them into Pro Bowlers or all pros. Right?
Thank you, Vic Fangio.
Thank you, Vic Fangio. But coaching and how it's all symbiotic and it's all working together, right? I lost my train of thought.
You were panicking. Day one. No, so day one you were calm. Day two.
But I was panicking a little today, like on social media. I was putting out like one of those memes of like, somebody where, that meme of like looking at the phone and looking up. I got a text message. All the text message said was relax.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be, the off season is not today. The off season is not tomorrow. The off season, as far as Howie Roseman is concerned, is going to be, and this is what I'm taking from the text. The off season is going to be the entire year, and I wouldn't be surprised, just to circle around to the pro personnel department, if Howie Roseman and the Eagles organization take a philosophical, not left-hand turn, but they go, okay, maybe we're on to something here, because the Eagles like to be ahead of the curve. Everybody wants to spend that big. Everybody wants to make headlines day one of free agency. Everybody wants to make headlines at the NFL draft. But they might be, just like they were with Saquon Barkley, just like they were with a lot of the things that they developed, the smaller center with Jeff Stoutland and everything. They were ahead of the curve on a lot of things. I think their pro personnel department is going to be working overtime. Your front office has the college scouting department and the pro personnel department. The pro personnel department is scouting the rest of the league. I think they're looking around the rest of the league for their next Zach Bond. 100%. They're looking around the rest of the league. Who can we trade for? Who's going to cost us nothing? Who's going to, that we can develop that with our coaching staff, with the Vic Fangio, with the Jeff Stoutland, that we can develop into the next Becton, the next Zach Bond.
That's why, again, I like with.
But that takes time.
And not only time, here's the thing with that. With all my heart, I really could give a shit this season more than any other, because our offense is solidified and we need all this help on defense. And I have the guy that everybody wanted, the godfather of the system that Howie Roseman loves. He keeps bringing these coaches in because they're running this system. So you've got the godfather who's 9,000 years old. He's been in 42 different teams across the league. He's drafted a lot of guys. He's brought a lot of guys up. He's had guys turn their back on him. He's had guys not listen to his coaching, and he's had guys fall in love with his coaching. And that way he can go to the personnel and say, hey, look at this guy over here on such and such from Miami. Look at this guy over here from Denver. Look at this guy over here from that. Like, oh, this kid was on practice squad. Check him out. I could do something with him. Because when they came in this year and White was taking all the snaps in preseason and training camp, I was like, oh, he's the linebacker. He's our guy. Next thing I know, I'm looking at him on social media at a campfire in Tennessee at his home. I'm like, what? Wait a second. I got a game tomorrow, bro. How are you chilling at the compound? And next thing I know, Zach Bond's out here licking and sticking everywhere. So not only Howie, not only front office personnel, but when you've got the guy at coaching, he will help you say, get me this guy, give me that guy. Because he doesn't sugarcoat. Man, he brings me back to that 2000, that Jimmy Johnson. When he was out there just talking, this guy sucks. This guy's great. I love this kid. So straightforward. I love that. So I'm really just not even worried about the defense.
So lean into that, right? Because did we think for 1 minute when Howie's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna let Josh Sweat walk, and you know what? $26 million from Milton Williams. We're going to let him go. And CJ's bring the attitude. I get that. I like them. We're going to trade him. You think at no point he went, hey, Vic, what do you think? Vic, can we survive without this guy or that guy? Is this guy replaceable? Can you run your defense effectively if I make this move? You think he didn't go to the DC of the number one defense in the NFL to get his opinion on how he needs to construct his defense? Right?
And Vic's not shy about it.
No, he's going to speak
because
up.
he'll take a guy that you just paid like $51 million to, like in Huff, and be like,
and sit him.
And
sit him.
He's
and win the Super Bowl. Again, this is what I'm talking
about. And Nolan Smith. Nah, Young Bull needs some more reps in preseason. No, we need to get
guy. Why don't you give him some snaps in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, exactly. So Vic Fangio is going to tell you who he wants, just like he did with Bond. He's going to tell you what he wants, and he's not going to be shy about it.
Correct.
And if he feels like a mistake, he doesn't. The one thing that I used to hate about Howie, to what I cut you off again. I'm so sorry, but you made such a good point. Back in the day, remember when J.J. Arthur-Whiteside was on the field, and everybody's like, "That's Howie protecting his pick. He picked this guy, so he's forcing him on the field." Vic doesn't play that game.
No, he does not.
I don't care what you paid for. I don't care what happened. He tells you in the interviews. I really like the other guy. The other guy's been practicing really well. Kenyon, he's a gem. He's unbelievable. Rodgers? Okay, so ask me about Kenyon again. And so when he sat Huff, like that tells you everything that you need to know about going forward. Those days of Howie making those kind of mistakes, again, he's got all my trust in the world. And it's so hard to get my trust. If you ain't got, you know what I mean? If you ain't stacked up front or in the back, you know what I mean? It's hard to get my trust out here. You know but Howie got it right now. He got me.
Let's reiterate again. We're not saying that these aren't good players. No. Of course they're good players. You just won a Super Bowl. They are good players. They are. But it's the combination of, like, they're good players, but they can be replaced or replaceable with the idea, look, it's a business. Football's a business. And sometimes you got to make tough decisions. Sometimes guys make the cut. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you're going to find a way to keep them on the field. Sometimes you say, thank you for your service and be on your way. It's the nature of the business, but it doesn't put me in a position where I feel like they're not still a contender for 2025. Mm-hmm. I still think that they are the lead dog in the NFC East. Yeah. And then once you get to the playoff, like anything happens at that point. It's a matchup at that point. So, I'm not backing down at all. I'm not scared at all still.
Did the Dallas Goedert thing surprise you?
Dallas is gone.
It surprised me. For me, it kind of came out of nowhere. It was all of a sudden ESP is talking about, Dallas Goedert's probably going to leave. I was like, huh? What? And then it was, he's in his final year. He's 30 years old, and he's going to make $14 million next year. And they're not, and no more guaranteed money. That's straight cash, and they're not going to pay him that. I was like, oh my God.
When they got rid of Zach Ertz,
right?
And I mean, he cried.
They were bad, but they were bad.
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay.
Zach was #1. He still got racks on racks on racks records. Beloved in the city. His wife is a gem. Like, love the guy. And they told him, hey, bro, I'm sorry. And I mean, love. Like, dude was dyeing his hair blind. He was going Eminem style. Like, all that was going on. So that, again, Howie has been making turns. Paid a running back, linebacker. He's not going full bore. Dallas Goedert's always hurt. He misses 4 to 6 games a year. All because he's out here doing E-Honda and getting injured.
I got it in front of me. He missed 12 games, or he played 12 games in 2022, 14 games in 2023, and 10 last year.
So he's always injured. Mm-hmm. He's a good blocker. Calcaterra is not going to be his replacement. Because Calcaterra can catch, but he can't block. So, also your new passing coordinator guy coming from college, he's got like 3 tight ends on his team that are in the draft.
The Fannin kid?
Yep. He's got, so, I mean, he might be saying, hey, get my young guy up in here. We could probably get him in the 4th, 5th round. I know him. I know what he can do. So, again, 30 years old, doesn't have a contract, injured a lot. Dallas, thank you for your service.
Am I surprised? No, because for everything we just said, like, the guy's hurt a lot. He's 30 years old. He has a high cap number, and that's just not typically how the Eagles do business. Am I surprised? Well, yeah, on the other side of it, because you see how dynamic that offense really is when you've got Dallas Goedert in there. Yeah. He's the only tight end they have that doesn't tip your hand, meaning he is just as good of a run blocker as he is a pass catcher. You're not getting that out of Calcaterra. You're not getting that out of really any other tight end that's on the roster. So he is a difference maker. Yeah. And I think you have to draft a tight end, whether you're going to replace Dallas Goedert or whether you're going to trade Dallas Goedert or not. You have to draft a tight end for the future. But I am a little surprised because he is an integral part of that offense.
I think the reason why it caught me off guard is I didn't hear any chatter about it prior to.
You never do with Howie, though.
But no, you knew what, like even when we did our Super Bowl edition, we ran through quickly, like, who would you like to see back? And the Dallas Goedert thing never entered my mind.
But we never thought about having him come back either. We didn't talk about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't bring him up. We didn't bring him up.
No, you're right. I assumed he's here.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think that kind of threw me off and why I didn't think about it is because Howie's always done a really good job. When it was Selleck, he drafted Ertz. Mm-hmm. When it was Ertz, he drafted Goddard. And it was always like been the next big thing at tight end in the queue. There's nothing in the queue right now. Hold on.
Maybe there's a trade. Maybe there's a trade.
Again.
Yeah, you're right.
Again, Calcaterra is serviceable. He's shown that he's serviceable.
Yes.
He's gone in and played the game. So you can draft somebody now and know that you've got a guy who's in the system, who's cheap, who can go out there and catch a ball. Because let's be completely honest, even when Dallas is out there, not to his fault, but he wasn't a mainstay in the offense other than blocking. You could put another lineman out there to do that. Because what happens is...
Tips your hand, though.
Once he starts... Again, you could put another guy out there. You could draft a guy. Okay. But what happens is every time Dallas would get like, oh, man, Dallas Goedert's here. Injured. Boom. Dallas Goedert comes back. Well, he's got to crank back up. And then by the time he's good again, season's over. So that's why I didn't even think about him, because it happens every year where as soon as he gets cooking, he's banged up. Then he's got to get back into it. And once he gets cooking again, end of the season. So, again, they got Calcaterra there. And everybody, again, it's what we do. Cal goes out there, has 1-2 catches, gets 60 yards, and we're like, oh, Dallas Goedert didn't do that. Well, you forgot the Dallas Goedert got 4 catches right here because people get mad because he gets injured a lot. So we're so I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry for anybody watching this. Sorry for anybody who looks at me on the internet lately. I am not comfortable being positive. I'm not comfortable being happy. But it is what it is. You got to take that Negadelphia and shove it up your ace. Because I got to deal with the 76ers. The Flyers are going full ship on the reboot, so you got to cry about that. And the Phillies, thank you, Bryce, for choosing me, but I don't know what's going on. But I know I got Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean? I know that I got Jalen Carter. I'll be completely honest with you. He is the thing that's got me just like on cloud 9 and I don't care. I watched Super Bowl 7 times, 2 times from the All-20. I don't know shit, but I know that man was still pushing 2 and 3 linemen on the 3-peat wannabe Kansas City Chiefs. Now all of a sudden their offensive line is trash. I mean, they look like trash when you got Jalen Carter out there.
Yeah.
All those guys ate off him. And that's the one thing I'll say how he didn't mess up, because Huff, you couldn't eat with this guy out here taking up out the trash for you. You couldn't eat with this guy taking out the trash for you. That's scary. That's $54 million a year we got to fix and worry about. But my gosh, guys, I'm so happy. Is this what you guys feel like all the time?
We're speaking from a place
Is this
of
what
privilege.
it's like?
Yeah,
Is this what it's like to be white and
like.
handsome and wearing a hat? Golly, I tell you, I got to get me one of these hats. I got to get me one of these white boy jackets. I am with you guys. Next time I come in, I'm going to be shucky ducky. Let's fly. Yeah. Woo. Yeah.
We'll make.
I want to be one of the exciting whites so bad.
We'll make you an exciting white. Yeah. We'll make it.
That's funny.
White gritty. I'm about to switch it up on everybody. White gritty.
I did realize we were both rocking the varsity jacket. It's a good look for you. It was not planned.
I guess
You know what? This was sent to me by Fanatics, and I appreciate them sending it out. A varsity jacket's not normally my look.
Oh, I like it.
But
coming back.
it's nice. It's nice.
Andrew, can I be one of the exciting whites?
You definitely can, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
See? Andrew's really white. If Andrew lets me in, then I know I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? He's out here watching soccer. I know Andrew's white.
Can I give you a conspiracy theory on the Saquon Barkley contract?
Yeah, please. Conspiracy theory on
Conspiracy theory on the Saquon Barkley contract. And I'm only saying this, and I want to get this out there. I don't even know where it fits in the show. That's why I'm squeezing it in right now. Because I haven't seen it talked about online, and I don't have any inside information on this. This is just conspiracy theory about the Saquon.
Before we get into it, by rule, are you a conspiracy theory guy?
No.
So this is kind of out of the realm.
This is kind of out of the realm.
Okay.
This is kind of like I'm just throwing it out there and just kind of like, does anybody agree?
Okay.
Or am I crazy? Right? That's the thing with conspiracy theories, right? You throw it out there and you're like, is anybody buying this or not? So I think the Saquon, because we're all wondering like why he was under contract. You didn't need to do that. Why do that, right? And in fact, we thought it was saving the team some money. It's not. It's actually costing them a little bit more. Not significant, but a little bit more, right? And what we're trying to do is save cap money right now, right? I think the Saquon Barkley contract was the negotiation for him not going for the record. I think he wanted to go for the record. They didn't want him to. He wanted to. They didn't want him to. He wanted to. They didn't want him to. And they tried to explain to him, like, listen, it's all about the team and the Super Bowl. It's not about individual records. But he wanted to go for it. So what happened?
Provided they win the Super Bowl.
Provided they win the Super Bowl. So what happens when you got something that you want somebody to do and they won't do it? Or they're arguing with you. You incentivize them. And I think the Saquon Barkley contract came about because there was an agreement between Barkley and the organization that said, hey, listen, if I'm going to you forego the record. We squash this right now, team first. And we win a Super Bowl, we're going to renegotiate your contract and we're going to guarantee that 2026 season.
I mean, in theory, I like it. In theory, I like it.
Because I can't come up with any other reason.
It feels like rainbows and unicorns to me.
Is it crazy? Am I crazy?
No, it's not crazy.
My
But
tinfoil
that's a
hat
lot of
right
money to ask a guy to sit one game. A lot of money. Because, I mean, it's all predicated on if you win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So they go to the NFC Championship game or go to the Super Bowl and lose. They don't.
Or I'm not saying verbatim that was it.
You just think it was connected.
What if it was like, hey, listen, you forgo the record. We make it to the Super Bowl. We win the Super Bowl, whatever. We're going to take care of it in the offseason.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
Just that's why I think
take care of your guy.
That's why I think because everyone's like, why did we do this?
Yeah.
It was so unnecessary. You didn't have to do it. Well, you're letting guys walk out the door and you sign Saquon. Because there's no doubt in my mind that Chauncey and other players saw that contract and were like, What about me?
Yeah, I think
And then it's like,
part
well,
of
you
it,
didn't rush for 2,000 yards.
and I know you have something to say. I think part of it though is not just okay, we're going to incentivize him, but I don't think they signed Saquon Barkley last year,
Yeah, today's the anniversary.
and they knew they were getting a leader, and they knew they were going to get a dog on the field. I don't think that they knew they were going to get 2,000 yards, but I also don't think that they knew that they were the type of leader they were getting. I think they knew they were getting a leader, and we saw it in clips in the Super Bowl where they were up 34. You know, that's not for us. Ignore the scoreboard.
And Jeffrey
lock
Lurie's
in.
gushing over him.
Loves that. So I think throughout the course of the season, they looked at him and said, you know what? Like, damn, this dude is he may be Jalen's the leader of the offense. Let's not get it twisted. But for Jalen not being as vocal, Saquon's vocal. He's a vocal leader. He gets up in guys' faces. He motivates. He locks guys in. And I just think that there's value to that with how Howie likes to build his team, with the way Jeffrey loves to run it out. And I think they just wanted to make sure he stayed, keep him happy. And part of that probably is, are you going to be a team guy? You're going to be a leader and lead by example and sit for the health of the playoffs? We're going to reward you.
Well, he was going to stay because, bitch, he was signed. He ain't going nowhere.
That's what I'm saying. It was unnecessary. So why?
That's the first thing. Second thing is, you're such an annoying person because that's one of, no, not you. Well, you're always annoying.
Oh.
But right now, he's annoying.
Okay, fair.
Because with his bullshit.
But only sometimes.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
all the time.
All the time.
Okay. All right,
every single time.
That's good.
Mine is 4 times. You've been right like 4 times. I give you credit. So
it's a good run for me.
Oh, yeah, right? So the fact that is exactly what happened pisses me off because Saquon's team already knew they're smart enough when they did the contract. They didn't tie his bonuses to touchdowns because Jalen Hurts gets the touchdowns.
Right.
Which is why you never heard him complain about it all year long. Everybody else in the outside world's like, he's stealing touchdowns from Saquon. Saquon's like, bitch, I'm still getting my bonus on yards per carry and touches because that's what my bonus was. If I touch the ball X times, bonus. I get these yards, bonus. I get catches, bonus. Not one single thing in his contract said anything about touchdowns. 10, 5, nothing. Because they already knew. That means they're thinking. So when I'm sitting here saying, I want my rushing record because it's so far and few between times you get it, and I had to suffer with the Giants my whole career. Now, when you close your eyes, you say Saquon Barkley, you see him in green. That's insane. That's insane.
Yes.
So to your point about, him being a leader and all that kind of bullshit, that's all true, but like you can't think of it any other way now. So I'm sure somebody said, hey, bro, Super Bowl be damned. If you just go out there and say, so we don't have to deal with this for 4 weeks and we can focus on Super Bowl, I will take care of you and I will give you a bump at the beginning of the season. I will do that for you. And he said, you know what? Because right before he came, the day before, he said, my father wants it for our family name. Then he went out there and said, it's okay, it's a team sport. I don't give a shit what nobody say. Once you bring your father into it and your name, I'm not shit. I'm never going to be remembered as shit. Black Gritty don't even say my last name in it. But let me tell you something. My daughter's going to marry some dude. And unless he's the absolute salt of the earth, my fucking grandkids are going to be named Stone. Because my shit matters, okay? And I'm nobody. So when he said his dad talked about his family name, I know what Howie did. And he deserves it. And he owned it. And it's okay. And we all sat here and said, don't go record. I said, you better win that motherfucker. We did, bitch.
We all said, oh my God.
Super Bowl.
We got a dump button in the back.
It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks. It's pent up.
We won the Super Bowl.
We just doubled our F amount.
Nobody's
one
watching
episode.
us. Yeah. It's Tuesday. Nobody's watching us, and we're here alone. Andrew ain't gonna tell nobody.
It's lit. What do you mean?
Look, no, shut up. They don't know nothing. And like I said, Andrew had to sit there with us. We had bum fights going on one of our shows. So the least I can do is curse later on in the episode. I didn't start the show off with it, but we Super Bowl champs. Give a ham sandwich about another. But you're right about that. It makes me mad because it's true. It is so true. And
so what was the annoying part?
Because you're right.
Oh.
And you brought it up. It's not conspiracy. That's fact. Black Gritty said it's fact. E-Rock said it's fact. I'm putting words in his mouth. Black E-Rock said it's 100% legit because that makes so much sense. And again, you're right about other players being upset. But again, when you look at it, it's not even that much money. That's how I know that sounds real. Because it's not like he made the high.
We broke the bank.
Back.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, he gave him like.
It was another 20.
million?
No, I thought it wasn't
Like,
another 20 million in guaranteed.
But it was like the 2026 is guaranteed.
Yeah.
Now. It wasn't guaranteed before.
Yeah, again, it's like fugazi real money, but it's like not,
Yeah, you were going to get that anyway, but now it's guaranteed.
Guaranteed, yes.
There you go, buddy. Look at you. Now it's guaranteed.
Again,
as if he was going anywhere.
On his family name. That means something. So, Yeah, I don't like that. But that sounds so real. That feels right. That feels right.
So the Eagles kind of been sitting on their hands. We've been dealing with it. We've been talking about it this entire episode. Before we get on out of here, give me some feel of what you think's going to happen moving forward in free agency up to the draft. I don't want you to paint a large tapestry of the offseason plan, but what do you think?
So I know you have squirrel brain, but can you remember that question for a minute? Squirrel.
Yeah.
Okay, you go ahead.
Oh, you got a thing?
I got a thing.
Okay.
You don't have to run the graphic, Andrew, because I know you're a terrible person and you're out there willy-nilly watching soccer videos right now. He's not focused on us. He's watching soccer replays. But we do
just run the graphic. Just be an asshole. It's okay. It's all right. Just
call me out for that, man. Thanks.
When I say funny stuff and Andrew doesn't laugh, I know he back there watching soccer replays. I know how Andrew be.
It's Champions League right now, man.
Are you really? Did he call you out? Are you watching it?
I might have been.
Who's playing?
Who's playing?
Liverpool just
Wait. Gritty's doing a thing. On 3, 2, 1, go.
We have a thing that we call the Woo Player of the Week. Now, we could play at one of the other players, but I'm throwing this on these guys because they don't prepare for the show. So I like to throw things at them because it's fun for me. So let's do our Woo Player of the Week for someone that we've lost. And we describe how much we love them and what they did for us and pick a Woo player that has gone so far in free agency. And I'll even let you go first or last. You get to choose. We can go 1, 2, 3, or we can go 1, 2, 3.
Let's go 1, 2, 3. Love it. Here we go.
My Woo Player of the Week is someone that I started this show off chastising, and I'm taking him because he's number 1 on top of the chart. I saw him cry in my coach's arms going back to the Super Bowl, and he blubbered like a baby. That ugly cry. I mean, my goodness, he looked like a gremlin. He looked like a gremlin with water thrown on him, and the water was the tears coming down his face. This man barks at people. He got thrown out of a game for saying something, and I don't even believe it was the N-word. I don't know how it happened to him, but CJ, GJ, I love you. I love your Twitch streams. I love the fact that you be hopping in regular Philly girls live Twitch streams, hitting on these young, cute Philly girls. You out here running gameplay. You was running game. And I hope that you continue to run that game in Texas. I hope you run up the bag also for yourself. You deserve it. You brought that dog alpha mentality back here, and you have supercharged us into a Super Bowl victory. And I thank you for your service, and I hope that you continue your greatness in the AFC, where I don't have to see you that often, to have to worry about you come back to bite me in my ass, because like I said, you a dog. So my Woo Player of the Week is CJ GJ.
All right. Can I get a solo cam real quick? Can I get the solo cam?
Put him on the solo.
Darius Slay, you have done so much for this team, and I know you've caught in your fair amount of shit over the years. But when you have caught your fair amount of shit, you've always done it with a smile, because that's what I like about you. There's different leaders on this team, right? There's different leaders. Jalen Hurts is that stoic, fundamental, foundational leader. Then you have other emotional leaders. There's plenty of ways to lead. You led always with a smile on your face, encouraged your guys, and brought the levity to the locker room. That's why you're wearing that C. And I know people sometimes will call you mid-play Slay. Sometimes people will get on your ass about what you say during your podcast. Trust me, as a podcast host, I can completely relate to that. You know, sometimes when you're in front of the camera, people want to hate on you and dog on you. I completely understand that. So for that reason of being such a leader and really such a great corner and a great person in the locker room and a great Philadelphia Eagle on and off the field, no, scratch that. I'm not making you my Woo Player of the Week because I think you're leaving. I think you're the Woo Player of the Week because I think come tomorrow, you're back. Oh. That's why Darius Slay is my Woo Player of the Week.
And before you go, don't be calling me out like I be calling you out.
You called me annoying.
Yeah, I mean, that's my thing. I be making fun of y'all, and y'all just got to take it. When y'all make fun of me, it hurts my feelings. I am not one of the exciting whites. I don't have a hat or a jacket. There's only so much a man can take. Now, go ahead with your Woo Player.
Can I get some clarity first before I give you my Woo Player?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Originally, you said a player that's gone, right? Is it assumed gone or gone? Because Darius Slay is saying he's coming back and he's not technically gone yet.
I was breaking
I'm
all
just
sorts
asking.
of rules.
I don't want to get in trouble, and that's going to affect my answer.
Because I named another player too. I took it back real quick. So I was breaking.
I don't want to get in trouble.
We haven't done a show in 3 weeks. He calling me out, trying to make me feel bad. I don't have a jacket on, so go ahead and feel free.
I can do whatever I want.
Go ahead and feel free.
Because I'm torn
I don't
between.
have a hat or a jacket. FedEx ain't send me no jacket. I ain't got
No,
hat.
that's all right. If you don't want the jacket, let me show you this wonderful.
Oh wow.
Love Hurst Nike.
Oh.
Did you see?
Oh.
Did you see that the GOAT took Michael Jordan out to dinner?
Woo!
That was nice.
I'm sorry. Where were we?
He's on his Woo player.
Well, we're doing the Woo player, and I'm torn between two of them. So I'm going to give you the one, and then I want to talk about the other one. All right? No, afterwards. After
the official. I'm
going to give you my official one.
Because I'm on thin ice. Don't you go skating on the same ice.
I'm not going to do that. But I thought you were going to say, because when you started, you said, I've seen tears, right? And my Woo player of the week also shared tears with us. And it's very simple, except his tears were at the end of a Super Bowl victory. His tears were after a team told him he was no good enough. His tears were after a team in Philadelphia gave him a chance, kicked him inside the guard, and he played like a Pro Bowler. He's going to earn himself a bag. We're going to miss him in Philadelphia, not just because of how good he was, because he was good, let's be real here, but because of that lasting image that we remember of him in the Super Bowl, holding up the paper, sitting with his kid, tears rolling down his face. Mekhi Becton, I'm happy for you. I'm legitimately happy for you because we know that roller coaster that it is in the NFL. You got your whole high school career, your college career, and everybody tells you your shit don't stink. Everybody tells you the best thing since sliced bread. You get to the NFL and it doesn't go your way, and that's something he's got to deal with. That's something as a man, as a person, as an athlete, as you grow, you have to learn to take that. You're no longer God's gift, and you can't cut it. You ain't good enough. And that's what the Jets told Mekhi Becton until he came to Philadelphia, and he reminded himself, I am good enough. So good for you. I'm glad you got your confidence back. If you're not here in Philadelphia, I hope you get the bag. I hope you extend the career. I'm proud of you for your growth. You are my Woo player of the week.
You guys did way better than I thought you would on that. Even though technically you both picked somebody who's technically not gone.
All right, so can I go to my honorable mention then?
Go ahead.
Yeah. It's my honorable mention.
It's not a Chief Seat show without Black Gritty rolling his eyes at Jason Ashburn.
Because I hated the Kenny Pickett trade.
What?
I absolutely hated the Kenny Pickett trade when the Eagles traded for him. When the Eagles traded for him. When they traded him, cool. I don't care. Cool. On your way. But for Kenny Pickett to grow up a Philadelphia Eagles fan, to get traded to his squad, to end the Super Bowl taking a snap and taking a knee, I just think, Kenny, hey, I don't want you playing in an Eagles uniform. I get it, dog. I appreciate you, and I'm happy. I'm just happy for you that you had that life experience. You're not a Woo player of the week, but you are my honorable mention. I just wanted to throw that out there.
This is why I don't like you. This is why I don't let you talk.
Yeah.
This is why I be
He's
yelling
gonna say
at you.
that.
Because you brought up tiny hands for no reason. We was about to get through this whole episode without having to bring up tiny hands.
Tiny hands
He
is on the God.
he doesn't deserve any type of mention.
Yeah, he
I'd
does.
rather talk about Andrew and his watching soccer than tiny hands, okay? Because we all know around here,
He agreed.
it is Tanner time all the time.
No doubt.
When I was out here telling everybody that Tanner McKee is the second quarterback, that's one thing that Howie did put on his little list. He's got to be number 2, guys, because I got to trade him to get somebody because we're going to keep Tanner because he's actually better.
You sound like
and then
Sammy
that's
Davis
what happened.
Jr.
So it's like you brought up tiny hands for what reason? He is blessed by the grace of the Lord above that he got to play for the Philadelphia Eagles and take a snap in the Super Bowl. Shout out to the Scooby McDoo dude in the chat that says he's a Cowboys fan. He's taking more snaps in the Super Bowl than Dak Prescott will in his whole entire life outside of a game of Madden, outside of Tony Romo, outside of the 4 other quarterbacks that have ever been in the Dallas Cowboys history after Aikman. You suck for bringing up Kenny Pickett because I was about to go the whole time without talking about. I don't want to talk bad about the guy. He grew up an Eagles fan.
That's what I'm saying. He's not talking bad about the guy. He's just doing T-Rex
tiny
like
hands.
this.
Tiny hands. So let me just say this. By the way, before you can finish asking your question. If you're worried about the Eagles, think about if you were Jim Irsay and how much drugs you must have in that briefcase you got caught with 12 years ago. Your quarterback, Andrew Luck, left. And then you get Carson Wentz because you need him so bad that Howie, fleeced you right up the wazoo and got us those draft picks. That was so good getting Jalen Hurts in here as a backup quarterback when everybody was mad and thought Howie didn't know what he was doing. Then you guys get Ryan, the guy from the Atlanta. He comes in there. You keep drafting all these old quarterbacks, and then you went and got Daniel Jones and paid him $17 million. At least we're not the Colts. At least we're not the Colts.
Rick James once infamously said, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Hell of a drug. Hell of a drug. And if you're sitting there, and again, you're in the chat talking about you're a Cowboys fan, you've definitely been doing crack cocaine. You were out there with Michael Irvin in Las Vegas on a Thursday night, wilding. If you think that the Cowboys are going to do anything, you're broke and you're one of the richest franchises in sports. Actually, the richest franchise in sports, and you're broke. Micah Parsons, he's either going to break the bank or break your back. Because either way, as soon as you pay him, he ain't going to play. It must suck for you if you're not an Eagles fan. 49ers, you're trash. What are you doing? The Minnesota, they ain't got a quarterback. We are sitting so pretty. I hate being happy. I hate being positive. But my God, look around the league. Unless you got Patrick Mahomes sitting there, who else would you rather be than Philadelphia? The issues I have, for me, it's like, do I have steak or salmon tonight? I'm big. That's the kind of life I'm living. When I go home tonight, it's either filet mignon or salmon. You see what I'm saying? I'm balling out here. And that's Howie Roseman. See, he laughing. Now I know he's listening. The game must be over. That's how I know that Andrew's locked in.
Somebody won 1-0. With 6 extra minutes. With 6, there wasn't 1-0. I knew it.
I'll be paying attention. Now go ahead and ask your closeout question so we can answer.
Closeout question, final thoughts or prediction for what actually happens when the bell rings and the free agency actually comes.
You and me, buddy.
You can go ahead because mine's going to be short.
Look, I said it earlier. I still think that Howie's always got a plan. He has showed us he's always got a plan. He doesn't make moves haphazardly. I don't know what that is. I don't know what position that is, but I would not be surprised if between now and the draft that there is a trade, that there is an acquisition that we make that we did not see coming, that we did not expect, but somehow we said, oh, okay, Howie. You know, whether that's and I'm not talking about just some guy. I'm talking about an impact player that he's going to add to the defensive side of the ball. If that's how I'm going to map it out, that's what I think he does. The rest for him, he's not going to, free agency's not going to be a thing for us. It's going to be 1-year contracts, veteran minimums. Let's try to piecemeal here and there, pull the trigger on a trade, and then we're going to position ourselves in the draft to either acquire as many picks as we can or to move up and go get the guy that they have their eyes on.
Defensive back, linebacker, cornerback, Eagles in 5. I don't give a shit. I'm not worried about nothing. I don't care who he picks. I don't care who he drafts. I don't care what's going on. It is so good to sit here and not care because guess what? You don't know shit. You don't know shit. Vic Fangio don't even really know shit. He's going to pick who he wants, and then we got to come out and show up and play. So right now, everything they do is what's going to get done, and then we get to sit there and watch it unfold. It's one of the greatest things in sports. It's a great time to be alive because, again, who's got it better than us? Nobody, as the Hardballs would say. Yeah. Nobody's got it better than us right now. It is so good to be at the top of the mountain and have everybody shoot their arrows uphill. Let me tell you, I'm fat. The arrows be bouncing off me. I'm happy. Oh, it's so good. Dang it. I never knew it was good being white with a hat with a jacket. I never knew. Y'all been keeping it from me. Y'all been keeping it from me.
Can you put that jacket on?
Oh,
can you try throw the jacket on?
Throw the jacket on.
I think it's worth doing it on camera.
Yeah, throw the jacket on.
I think it's worth doing it
Absolutely.
as an off-season bit. Fat guy in a little coat.
I just want to see. Back up now. Back up. Come on. Come back over here.
Nope, that's it. As far as it goes.
No, you can get that.
No, you can get in there.
Come on.
All right, hold on.
Oh, yeah, come here.
Take it out. That's it.
Back it up in the camera. Get back it up in the frame.
Here, get in the middle.
I am the Kenny Pickett of white men with jackets. Tiny hands. Let me tell you something. If I Lone Ranger my hands together, you will feel this leather split down the back right now. If I fucking Incredible Hulk this bitch, you're lucky you got the jacket for free. I might do it. You know what I'm saying?
Touch your nose. Try to touch your nose.
Do the thing. You know, fat guy in a little coat.
Fat guy in a little coat.
All right, 3 shot. For the love of God, 3 shot.
Huh?
3-shot it.
Tiny hands. We did it.
All right. Prediction before we get on out of here. I think tomorrow you will see a veteran who has been reported to go elsewhere. The Eagles will retain him.
Retain.
Yep.
A veteran, i.e. Darius Slay.
I'm not saying Slay by name.
You gave that away.
Because I screwed that whole thing up when I kept calling him Darius on camera.
Yeah, you did.
So even if I'm right about it, I don't think I could post it.
I'm going to post it because I got the power to do it. I want to embarrass you.
Because I'm going to take the W like wholeheartedly, knowing full well that I'm going to get corrected by everybody in the comments.
In which way?
It's big play Slay. Don't stop calling him Darius.
Oh, I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, what?
No, you got to call him Slay.
I got to count Slay.
I'm going to call him Slay. I'm going to call him Slay.
Yeah.
Big play Slay. So I screwed that whole thing up. But I think you'll see a veteran who was reported to be elsewhere stay home.
Okay.
I think despite the CJ Gardner-Johnson trade and the guard that we got back, does not change their feeling on Becton. And I still think Becton's very much in the play into this thing.
Okay.
That the guard that they received is more of a developmental project to see if they want to sign him for long term. But he's going to be.
Tells you how they feel about Steen.
Well, not necessarily how they feel about Steen because they like Steen, but also too you just had Dickerson and Cam like barely able to walk, flip flop in their positions.
True.
You could never be too deep on the offensive line.
I agree.
I think they're going to be incredibly active on the second wave of free agency. I think we all need to be a little patient, okay? And because the offseason isn't going to be just the big splash of free agency and the draft, and now we got what we got, we're going to war. I think it's going to be a full offseason long project to build this roster, start to finish, and we won't know what this finished product is probably until midway through training camp. They're going to veterans who want to come here to try to win a chip, who haven't won a chip. This is going to be an attractive destination for a one-year contract. People who want to prove it, maybe bounce their career back. This is going to be an incredibly attractive destination because you see all those guys that were former 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round picks. They all got their bag, didn't they? Yeah, because we made it. When you're on a winner, you get your bag. Do you want to get your bag? You may not get it with us, but come play with us for a little bit, and you'll see what getting your bags is really, truly all about. I think that's the offseason strategy. I think that pro personnel department is going to be working OT on what's a good fit for this team, what's a good culture fit, what's a good schematic fit. And they're going to be looking for those veterans, those bargain basement ones, those guys that are on practice squad and special teams, i.e. Zach Bond. They're going to bring in a lot of that. And Eagles fans, if I was told verbatim to relax, the only thing I can do is pass along that information and pass along that feeling, because I do think, despite what the first couple days of the legal tampering period say, that they have a plan in place.
How long are you going to talk while I'm locked up in this straitjacket?
Bro,
shut up.
I feel like it's two adults and a toddler.
Shut up. PHLYCheapseats.com. Subscribe, like, and share. And Andrew, call the fire department. Give me the jaws of life. Get me at this jacket. I'm stuck. Give me a no. Oh, just cut the camera. We're done. Out. Why see me die in this thing? I got a family.
You all silly like a bear.
It's literally